Peace family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about was how the enemy is getting extremely desperate. They are getting desperate. They are doing whatever they can to create new masks. They are doing whatever they can to manipulate as many people around them. They are doing whatever they can to get to some of the brightest, strongest lights to extract everything they have within them, or to just pull as much as they possibly can. And what kind of brought me to this subject was I just been kind of running a little diagnostics, you know what I mean? So I'm big on experimenting in the realms that you in. So if you're a painter, you never know what colors might actually look best with the overall picture that you're going for, whether you're painting inside the house, outside the house, you know, wherever you may be painting at. You have to mix colors around to see which actually blends that you feel is going to vibrate the best for whatever proximity that you're in. I take these same tactics and I use them in real life. The only difference is, right, when you mix in paints, you never want to take a whole half gallon and another whole half gallon of red and blue and pour them all into one, and then you don't like the color purple that it comes up with, because now you cannot take it back. You can't pull it out. You have to manage that whole big pile instead of just taking like a little drop or just like a couple sprinkles of each, so that way you still got some red, some blue. You don't have to mix. You can kind of experiment around. It's the same thing in the spiritual realm when we are running these diagnostics. And I know I do. I don't want to speak for everybody because everybody don't have the same strength. But when you out here running these diagnostics on these oppositions out here, because we're in the middle of a battlefield, you'll understand that when you are in the boxing ring sparring with somebody to get them better, you do get to work on your defenses and you also get to work on your attacks. But you also are in the ring protected, where you have headgear on, you know, you got other people around. They're not going to let you go as hard as if you were in a real fight, but you have to simulate a real fight for you to understand these things. For me, I understand that I have to actually put myself in situations in order to get a deeper understanding of the knowledge that I want to have access to. A lot of these demons and these ops are going all the way out their way to outsource the best source that they can possibly find. And what kind of dove me deeper into this one today was the fact that I'm not in the space that I was in 6, 7, 15 years ago. I have a handful of beings who I used to deal with before I was in this space. I don't really engage with them that much. The ones that I used to engage with, I had to take a long separation from them. Basically, I disconnected. They came back around, whether guy friends or females, they came back around. They realized that, okay, I gotta respect his knowledge in the basis where he stands at now. Because once you show them that you've been standing solid, you're gonna continue to stand solid in your walk of life, they don't have a choice but to respect it or get out of your vibration or not coming back around your vibration. But with a lot of these new witches and warlords, they are also in the realm of trying to perfect their craft. So I had one being recently who found me here doing what I do, know what I stood for, know what I stand for, and still decided to present themselves with witchery. One formula of witchery and masking for women, or I should say females, however, whichever one formulates best for you. I know you're a female, you have to grow into womanhood. Anyways, they run into me at the space that I'm in now. One, I'm already seeing the first mask, a face full of makeup. I understand that some females like to wear makeup, women like to wear makeup. I'm not a fan of it. So if you meet me in this realm, you should already understand I'm not going to accept the makeup. It's that simple. You can find another guy somewhere else that will accept the makeup. There's no hard feelings. There's no love lost. It's just you're not going to be the being beside me or in my inner circle. I'm teaching my daughter to be more natural. But if I'm allowing witches into my life who has a face full of makeup on, it's showing that daddy doesn't stand solid on his word. So for one, that's a big red flag for me. Not saying makeup is the end of the world. I'm just talking about for the ones that's meeting me here and trying to get into my personal space. And I'm just really speaking of ones specifically because everybody don't come with the same vibrations. But that was one big red flag. The other big red flag, what I saw was tarot cards. Call it what you want. But if you have access to the source and information, you won't have to use the cards. When my BM had started getting into tarot cards like 3-4 years after we separated, I knew that it was all correlating with the other beings that I engaged with previously. I had met 2 or 3 that I engaged with a little bit more. I had met more, but it was 2 or 3 that I had engaged with that was big in the tarots. And the tarot cards outsourced the source itself. So tarot cards are not bad. I'm not saying tarot cards are bad. I'm just speaking as far as the beings that's using them. That's like I'm not saying the makeup is bad. I'm speaking for the beings that are using them. That was 2. Number 3 was you're trying to implement astrology onto me when I'm a teacher myself and a student of life. I have 20 years on you in age. And instead of you meeting me where I'm at and being attentive and willing to listen and learn, you reach out to try to control my vibration, which it never works, but it always puts me in a space of, oh, I have to be really strict. I have to be really stern. I have to be a low vibration word. I have to be a dick. You know what I mean? And it's like, I've experienced a lot of life. But being in this vibration and continuously rising and understanding what's going on out here in this world, in this realm of reality, these oppositions, even at the youngest age, understand it's too much information out here and a lot of people are seeing them for what they are. That was 3 red flags already. The 4th one was there was a quote-unquote night owl. Anybody that's operating on God time understands sun in the daylight brings a different vibration than the moon in the night does. The night isn't bad. I'm not saying that the night is a bad place or like something you should be afraid of, but more things that are unhealthy and more demonic entities like to operate in the shadows, in the darkness, in secluded spaces. You know, it's just another way of being able to hide them. So when I understood, like, this being didn't even sleep. They stayed up all night listening to some kind of astrology message, but I'm communicating from the source and you aren't even willing to intake the information or the insight from the source. And then, so when you got night owls, that usually leads to sleep deprivation if you are engaging with them on, you know, a more so than a friendship level. But even on a friendship level, you know, they'll still hang out at your house late hours. They'll still keep you on the phone for late hours, knowing you got appointments, you got to be asleep, you got school, you got work, you got all these things going on, and they'll still try to sleep deprive you. They operate under those nighttime hours. For me, once I start getting more in my God body, I realize my battles are harder to fight at nighttime. I'm not no perfect being. I've been through my own mess of shit. So once nighttime gets here and it starts settling down and I don't, say like, before I had my routines as far as how I was gonna take on the nighttime once it got here, because nighttime doesn't really hit hard until you get to around 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 at night. The next day doesn't start until the sun is up. I don't do all this 12 a.m. It's the new day. No, the new day is when the sun is up. Even the simplest things I will not allow to dictate my physical and spiritual algorithms with the universe. If every day I thought the new day started at 12, then why aren't the businesses open at 12 a.m.? No, they're open when the sun is up. So I always kept that in mind, even before I even knew what the hell I was doing. These beings, and for me, we operated differently. So for them, they hangout hours was late time. They flourished in it, they loved it, but they wasn't as productive during the daytime. Me, once I figured out a way to handle my nighttime routine, I started making myself get up early, so that way I'm catching more of the sun. You know, most people aren't up at 5, 6, 7. You can get up at 4. I'm not a 4 o'clock waking upper. That's too early for me. Like 4, some nights I go to bed at 4, so 4 is just too early for me. I have my nights where I do linger around, because sometimes the battles be a little bit harder. Sometimes my spirit just be traveling to so many places, it'd be hard to settle it down sometimes. And then I'm also solo dolo, because I don't allow a lot of people into my space. That's 4 signs already. 5th one, it was a substance abuser. They loved substances. They had their one hard substance. They loved to hit the ski slopes. You know what I mean? And for me, it's like, how you saying you getting spiritually connected? You got this information. You're doing tarot cards. You know there's numbers and all these things. But you have to use an external substance, which is one of the hardest ones. I said one, not the hardest one. It's one of the hardest ones that you could possibly use. You know? And once you get next to beings like me, then you'll understand that, all right, well, I don't need those hard substances. There's other substances that I could use to substitute for those things. Outside of the substance, they're still, number 6, they still living with their handlers, your mom and your dad. So they're complaining and bringing a lot of low vibrations, or trying to, around my space, the space. And once I give you some kind of solution or insight as far as how to go about managing that energy, I don't want to hear no more complaining. Because now it's just showing that this is the vibration you chose and choose to live on a lower vibration. That's where you choose to operate at. You'd rather be complaining than taking accountability and taking actions to change your life. It's a lot of people that's coming into this YouTube realm and finding beings like me and saying, oh yeah, we think alike. No, the fuck we don't. No, the fuck we don't. I went through a lot of weird shit with my parents. I had to take on a lot of hard emotions to even remove them. So if I'm hard on myself, why would I take it easier on you and you not in my shoes? Especially if you're reaching out to try to be in this vibration. These is where the diagnostics come from, because I already understood the flags at the door before I even looked through the peephole. I could tell by the way they knocked on the door that they wasn't from my team. My team, when we knock on the door, it don't feel like a police knock. It's just real. It's almost kind of like a beat. You know, you got them friends that come to your house, or at least back in the day, we used to go up to our friend's house. We'll just start doing a beat on the door. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it feels like when somebody of your team, you know, that godly team is knocking on your door. But when you got the ops knocking on your door, you see they're going to be one of these real creepy ones. That's real subtle, because they don't know if you're there or not, but they also want to be sneaky, because if you're not there, they can come in through the window, they can check your doors, they can pick your locks. Or you got them ones that's real out there in your face, and they go, You get up and you in a panic mode. You scrambling, you get to the door, you thinking it's the police. It's not even the police. It's just, hey, or what's up, bro? And it's like, damn, you knew that vibration was not welcome and it was way too hard. It doesn't matter if you was trying to get me to hear it or not. You know what I mean? Even when we was younger, without cell phones, we knew how to knock on a door without sounding like the police is beating the door in. After engaging with the being and I had to cut them all, it just made me be not more mindful or aware, but it was more of a confirmation of all the signs have to line up over here. All the green, red flags have to line up with the God and the Creator. All these other flags that I already knew when I saw from the beginning, I already knew where they was at. But the reason why I take those on to see if they're just trying to create a new mask, or if they're trying to figure out new ways to hide, or how to pull from the most potent energy, I have to do these things in order to learn. Yes, I know these things already, but how many times have you done 1 + 1? I'm pretty sure you already know the answer, but you'll still go to somewhere like a convenience store, have to pay for something. You'll see it's an easy number to add up, and then you'll still like 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll do the numbers in your head, or you'll do the numbers on your finger. Most of us, when it comes to being that simple and it happens really fast, sometimes it forces us to slow down. That's why we go to counting the numbers in our head, or 1, 2, 3. You only counting to less than 10, but you still using your fingers just to make sure you got them right. You know what I mean? So it's part of the process. But when people see you vibrating and operating differently, what they see when they get that vibration of, oh, he got some rebellion and she got some rebellion in them, or they got some passion. A lot of people call passion rebellion, and it don't be the same thing. You know what I mean? So these other beings are doing things to try to get you to master. The way I see it is, it helps me master my emotions faster, because I always look at the cup as half full. If you're not looking at mastering your emotions faster, it's gonna pull your self-aware, your self-confidence down. You still gonna be self-aware, but it's gonna make you feel extremely small, because you didn't have to open the door. These people went out their way searching for you to be a demon, to be a witch, to be a warlord, to be a vampire, to just suck your energy dry. Half of them trying to either sabotage you or to get you to self-sabotage. And then most people are not sticking around for a lot of these demons anymore, because there's too much information out there. So having access to all this information out there is forcing them to kind of keep these sources rolling a lot faster. So that's how men in today's, that masculine, who basically has that masculine energy and that carries themselves like a full-out masculine male. You know, I had some females that pull up and make it seem like they want to engage with me, but really they just treat me like a piece of meat. And growing up and then just being involved with women, that was never the process. Most females engaging with me when I was younger always wanted some kind of relationship. Always. Now these demonic women, females, whatever word floats better for you, they aren't looking for a relationship. They're just looking to clean you of your energy. I'm speaking of the demonic women. I'm not talking of the godly women that's out here operating, that got to deal with these demonic men who are just overly excessive in their quote-unquote masculinity. You know what I mean? The people and these beings that's on the other side, that's using this demonic playbook, they want us to feel as though we're wrong for caring or expressing any emotion. I'm never going to fault myself for caring, because if I allow you in my inner space, I care to a certain degree. Now, the trick with me is, I will cut your ass off the same way I cared in the beginning. My caring isn't always, oh, he cares 100%. No, sometimes I can crack the door and I only care about you 10 to 20%. That doesn't mean that I care about you 100%. I care about myself more than I care about letting these demonic witches extract all my energy from me. Never stop yourself from caring. It's not our fault that people are running around manipulating, doing disgusting things, and they want us to feel bad or like feel smaller or incompetent, because like, oh, well, you should have saw them when they were doing this. You know, you should have saw the signs at the door. It's like, bitch, I don't just assume everybody is a demon. I see the signs there, because I do a lot of diagnostic tests. So when females say, oh, women don't wear makeup, most of the ones that do have a really hard time removing it. This last one, how you trying to get in the door with somebody who doesn't care for makeup, but then you're still putting it on every single day? That means you aren't doing the things to try to make this man happy or to be in his life. That's just like if a female got with a man and she was like, oh, well, I just don't want you to be involved with other women. And it's like, clearly, he's still involved with other women and he's not investing that same time and energy into you. This whole place is like, they want us to be like in a lower vibration for caring because they figured out how to run away and minimize their caring. They care. That's why they do the things they do. They just don't process the light the same way we do. So the same way we process love, peace, joy, they process insecurity, you know, all these other things that come with being insecure. I don't want to name a whole list of them, but we know all the things that the other playbook endures. So just be mindful when you out here and you dealing with these beings, because they are upgrading their mask, they upgrading their tactics, and some of them are just becoming more bold and willing to bully. Like, it's way more aggressive females out here now than it used to be. And it's putting a lot of men in spaces to where we just don't even want to engage or deal with. You know, if a man ever yelled at me in real life, I would check his ass, and we would probably, men already know it's a chance of an altercation in between there. But now the system has set up to where these demonic women feel like they could keep arguing and barking at a man as though there's no consequences for it. That's not how it works in real life. There's always consequences for it. If I knew that I couldn't beat somebody, I wouldn't sit here and just project some fearful, scared tactic to make it seem like, oh, I have more power than what I do. I understand the power dynamic. I'm not always in every situation where I have the most power. I'm not always in every situation where I have the least power. But I understand usually where I'm at in those dynamics. Whether I'm with other men and I know where my power levels is at, or whether I'm with females and I know where my power level is at and I know where they're trying to move it to. We're not going to be able to blame ourselves forever when we're working as hard as we can to be self-aware, to use our discernment, our intuition. One thing that I hate is that, oh, women got great intuition. I'm like, if women got great intuition, why is it so many single moms out here? Why is it still so many females that just don't know when they have a godly man at the door, or even be willing to put the fucking work towards him? Most women don't even want to put the effort or the work in because they're afraid of whatever it is that they're afraid of. Man, we got to deal with rejection all the time. All the time. Most women be like, yeah, I want a godly man. I want somebody to follow the creator. But motherfucker, you ain't putting no work in for him. You see one right there and you won't put the work in for him. You got one right there and you won't put the fucking work in for him. It's that simple. You don't want that. You want somebody else that's going to come around and allow you to be me. I want to be me. I want you to accept me as me. I accept the being in the spirit where it's at, but I also am aware of where it should be going. And I'm also aware of what the past is like. Men are concerned with women's past. Women are concerned with men's future. Men are concerned with women's past. Women are concerned with men's future. That's why most women don't care what a man's body count is. Men does. Because we already understand, all right, well, if she had too many niggas, I know that she ain't going to have no fight in her in order to get through anything to obtain something of real substance. Because in her mind, the grass is always greener on the other side, because she done already took so many polls already that she feel like it has no effect on her ability to not stand solid beside the man that she chose. You know, if he not connected to source, then that's on the women in Western society who's always saying women got great intuition. I tell them to shut the fuck up when they say that. because most of them are not married or engaged with some kind of godly man. So that means women intuition in the Western society is some shit. It's some shit. Most women that got the best intuition are the ones who is connected with source. They ain't allowing none of that witchy shit to fly past them. They are extremely feminine, and they gonna make sure that they got the doors open for the people that is supposed to be up to. They gonna be more nurturing, more caring. They're going to be like what people always say, oh, I'm not supposed to be your mom. Well, motherfucker, you something like it. You a feminine female, aren't you? So you're something like it. Just like, oh, I ain't supposed to be your daddy. You something like it. You a masculine male, right? You supposed to step in, provide, and protect, and do all these other things, right? So yes, that is something similar to the characteristics than what the fuck we all are looking for. If you don't have the blueprint, then they're going to keep you in this loop of playing this game on both sides of the spectrum. Men is going to keep these women over here playing this game. The women going to keep these men over here playing the game. And I only say playing the game because they're all using the demonic playbook. We are very straightforward over here, which is why the relationships with friends, new friends, old friends, spouses, opposite sexes, parents, family members, all why they always come to a halt once we get to an awareness state of, all right, this is how things are going to start flowing. The universe is telling me this is how the natural law aligns things, and it's my job to understand my role and to do it to the best of my ability. And to do it in the most righteous light possible. But a lot of these beings, they working out new sources, new sauces, new tactics to kind of get at you and to suck your energy dry. I'm not out in here running these streets the way I used to be no more. I'm not out here just wasting my life away like I had done before, which I don't even like to look at it as like wasting, because I learned a lot of lessons in my life through just experiencing. But what I do know is I have way more insight. I have way more of an understanding. I am way more peaceful than I could. I don't give a damn what kind of obstacles I'm going to or going through. I am still at a way more peaceful state. So I understand when new beings are trying to come into my realm with their new mask or their new manipulation tactics. I already understand that most of them, I've dealt with people from all ages and ranges. Most of them are not shifting out of that space. Most of them. I'm not going to say all, because everything is on a percentage scale. So instead of saying all, I'll say 99.9% of them is not getting out of that playbook. They've worked too hard to become the false, fake identity self that they created. They've worked too hard at it. Anybody that says, oh, I'm always going to be here for you, is a lie, because they will be showing it with their actions. We already understand we're in the middle of a battlefield, and you have to walk that walk. Shut the fuck up with all that talking. Too many words is being used to throw people around in loops. I'm communicating now because this is the space that's created right now. But people that see me in real life already know the vibes. And the people that try to get in with me, they understand, okay, this nigga is the real thing. I tried every tactic I could possibly use. I tried to make him feel insecure. I tried to lower his confidence. I tried to make him feel like he ain't shit. I tried to make him seem unknowledgeable. I tried to make him seem unwanted. I wanted to make him feel unvalidated. They worked so many tactics. None of them stuck. None of them. None of them. Not one. You know what I mean? They always going to be working to create new masks, because the way society is shifting, they are dying out. It's women and men that's 16, 17, 18, 19. My niece was 9, 10 years old. Already fucking programmed. Already programmed. That hurt me when I had to witness my niece being programmed and then not even wanting to intake any new information or insight, And that was just something that, it was just something that I just had to wear, and I had to minimize her engagements around my daughter, around her cousin. They 2 years apart, because she wanted to take on that playbook at the ages of 9, 10, and 11. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter what age range they in. If they aren't connected with the source, the thing is, with a lot of these beings who are into the card readings. I haven't came across one card reader that is 100% godly and connected to source. Most of the card readers I run into are females who are empowering themselves. Females who are empowering themselves, meaning most of them don't have a leader, don't have a male or a masculine male in place. Process all the tarot readers you know. Process how many of them are females. Process how many of them have a godly man beside them. Most of them will not. Because most men want to teach, and they're in a space of feeling like they have more power and they don't want to learn shit. They're constantly feeling like, oh yeah, well that doesn't make sense because 222 and because I'm the fifth sign rising, and I understand all of that. But now, because we don't have people diving into religions, open spirituality, people are using as a blanket statement to kind of just be in the middle, you know. And for me, my side is chosen. I already know where I'm riding at. So there is no middle dancing ground with me. You know what I mean? And for the ones who usually follow their religions, the females and the women that do, they usually pretty good. Every female that I saw, every woman that I saw that followed their religion was so connected to source and the God that they put family and the creator first. Creator and the family first. They had the best, healthiest, most longevity relationships. You know, and I'm saying healthiest meaning on a spectrum scale, meaning it's 60% healthy. It could be 40% un, but they're still above the 50% marker. If you're above the 50% marker, you're doing good. If you're close to the 50% marker, you got to put some more work in. If you below 50%, you need to put hella work in. Simple process. The ones that's connected to Christianity, they usually aren't going to deal with any men who aren't connected to Christianity. It's a very simple, the one who connected to Islam, Muslim, they aren't going to deal with anybody who is not connected or practice. Spirituality is an open space right now. So you have to separate the demonic entities, the demonic men that's over there and the demonic women that's over there that's trying to empower themselves as if they have more insight and information now that they connected with source, but they're not even following natural law. You're not even following natural law. You got God bodies that's all around you and you haven't put no work in for one of them. You know why? Because you're still under Western society ideology. I don't want to chase no man. Bitch, that's your motherfucking job. Especially if he connected to source. You want the best provider and protector in the world. So everybody's so concerned with this chasing men. When we out here, when we see something and we want it, we're going to go shoot our shot. Or we're going to go try to go purchase it. We're going to do something. Will we get rejected or not is part of the process. But we're still going to attempt it. We're still going to attempt. Men and women process different. This is something that we just got to understand. Men and women are fucking different. We are different. Men uses their witchcraft way different than the women use their witchcraft. This is why you have this concept of toxic masculinity. But then you got toxic femininity. My being was super feminine, but she was extremely demonic. She was prissy like the female. She dressed extremely femme. She did all the extra feminine nature, like things that just flow with being feminine. But her vibration, when she opened her mouth, it was not feminine. It was extremely demonic. It's no different than what y'all call toxic masculinity. A man just walking around constantly poking his chest out. Nah, my chest is going to come out if you giving me resistance. You know, but I have been running up for a little while. I'm inside. I didn't have to worry about the wind, the weather, all of these other distractions I be having going on, which actually helps me stay more focused. So when I have all these distractions with the wind, the weather, cars pulling up, people going around, airplanes flying over, y'all have to understand, everything that I do is free flowing. So it forces me to have to focus my attention harder, which is another self form of practicing focusing my energy without being distracted. Every step, everything that we're doing, we could be implying it as if it's a practice, a step, or something that's going to help us better ourselves for tomorrow. So now if I go out and do things, I don't get as distracted. Y'all can never tell when I'm freezing cold outside. Y'all just see me out here talking. Y'all don't see that my chin, that little shaky thing, because I've done it so long now. I put myself in that position enough so many times that I feel better and I'm more comfortable at managing my energy and my body under those kind of circumstances. You know what I mean? But tap into everything down below. You know what I mean? I've been running it up. Peace and love to the kings and queens.